Former President Trump at a rally in Florida this weekend appeared to acknowledge the existence of tax schemes that the Trump Organization and its chief financial officer are charged with, while denying that they are crimes.
They go after good, hard-working people for not paying taxes on a company car. Company car. You didn't pay tax on the car or a company apartment. You used an apartment because you need an apartment because you have to travel too far where your house is. You didn't pay tax. Or education for your grandchildren. I don't even know. Do you have to? But does anybody know the answer to that stuff?
Trump telling the crowd that every company does, quote, fringe benefits, and mocking New York prosecutors for pursuing the charges. And of course, this is not the first time that Trump and his associates have seemingly admitted wrongdoing.
We're supporting a country. We want to make sure that country is honest. It's very important to talk about corruption. If you don't talk about corruption, why would you give money to a country that you think is corrupt?
Like, look, this is a corrupt place. I don't want to send them a bunch of money and have them waste it, have them spend it, have them use it to line their own pockets. Did he also mention to me in the past that the corruption related to the DNC server? Absolutely. No question about that. But that's it. And that's why we held up the money.
What you just described is a quid pro quo. It is funding will not flow unless the investigation into the Democratic server happened as well.
We do that all the time with foreign policy. I have news for everybody. Get over it.
So you did ask Ukraine to look into Joe Biden?
Of course I did.
You just said you didn't.
And you want to cover some ridiculous charge that I urged the Ukrainian government to investigate corruption. Well, I did, and I'm proud of it. Having something to do with paying some Stormy Daniels woman $130,000, I mean, which is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. So
they funneled it through the law firm.
Funneled through the law firm, and the president repaid it.
All right, let's talk now with political analyst Maggie Haberman. She's a Washington correspondent for the New York Times. I mean, Maggie, we see this pattern of the president kind of self-owning things, admitting in this case, essentially, the merits of the case, even as he downplays them. Why does he do this?
So, Brianna, I think that, former President Trump has a very long history of conflating legal issues with public relations issues, right? And basically that tape that you just showed, some of which related to the Stormy Daniels payment, which was made by Michael Cohen, the president's former fixer and lawyer, some of which was related to the impeachment investigation, the first one, into the former president, and some of it is obviously from this weekend. All of those, if you take them together, it's, yes, I'm just going to repeat the charges out loud and say there's nothing wrong with it, say that everybody does it. The difference here is, A, an indictment has been filed. In the case of the campaign finance charges, former President Trump was not facing charges of his own. That was Michael Cohen. In the case of impeachment, that was impeachment. That was not a legal proceeding. This is a legal proceeding where not just, Alan Weisselberg, the CFO of the Trump Organization, has been charged with crimes, but so has the Trump Organization. And so now you have the former president sticking to this traditional playbook of his, which is, I'm going to talk about it out in the open. He's still under investigation, and he no longer has a shield of prosecution. Now, he may not ever get charged, but what he's doing, which is saying, these are things that everyone does and these are fringe benefits, prosecutors are saying these are not fringe benefits, these were compensation, and these were not tax. So what he has just done is basically acknowledge that, yes, he was making these payments. He's trying to argue they were for something else, but most lawyers would tell somebody connected to a case like this, the less you say, the better. That's just never his style. He always believes he's going to convince someone. He's taking a risky gamble right now.